I did not grow up going to church or a Christian. I did not grow up praying. I was raised in Juárez, Mexico, in the center of they call it Ciudad Angeles, I think that's what they call it. And basically it's a community in like a garbage dump that people repurpose all that stuff to make homes. I just remember feeling out of place even there, because I knew in my heart like that there was something more than where I was. So when I was growing up in Juárez, we didn't have the comforts of what I have now, obviously. We didn't have running water. We didn't have plumbing. Everything that our home was made out of, we repurposed from what was in like the landfills, you know? We had pallet walls and either tarps or garbage bags to cover the outside, or cardboard boxes to keep it from the wind getting through the spaces. We didn't have running electricity. Everybody used the local pole to connect any wire for electricity. And a lot of people actually lost their lives because of that, because once you go to a hot wire, you know, you can get electrocuted. And that was actually very dangerous for a lot of kids running around. But I didn't know any different. That's what I knew. And in spite of like living there, I knew that God was real. And I knew that I had a bigger purpose for me. There was this gentleman, Tim. He used to come, I think it was once a week, maybe twice a week, and he ran a little Sunday school. He actually played a big role into me becoming a Christian, and so did a woman named Maria. They ran these VBSs and Sunday schools, and they didn't have to do that. There was hundreds of kids being picked up, and all of us walking down to where they were doing these little Sunday schools. And I walked miles with my two little sisters. I was around 7 or 8 at the time, and they were 2 and 5. So it was definitely different for me to being a parent, because I had to take care of them at a very young age. And that was really hard because I wasn't a kid. I didn't get to be a kid. I had to feed my sisters. I had to make sure that they stayed out of trouble throughout the day while my mom and my stepdad were doing whatever they had to do to survive. We ate 1 to 2 meals a day. 2 meals was probably the highlight. And in 2003, my dad, Jeff Boucher, he came to Juárez on a mission trip to help kids from his son's school to understand why and how people live outside of their community, and how God shows up even in the darkest of places. And he and my mom had been talking for a while, and him and his family decided to bring me to the United States. When I first came here, I had a very big hard time with the transition, and nobody knew about it. I didn't want to talk to anybody about that transition because, I felt ashamed, and I felt like I shouldn't be here, you know? And the more and more I learned about God, it made me more like wanting to be here. It's kind of like survival's guilt, where you feel like why am I here and my family can't be here? And as time went by, that went away, because I started seeing God everywhere I went. God was definitely present, and there's been times where I moved away from God, and I always find myself back because of where I came from. So every time that I felt far from God, I brought myself back to that little girl in Juárez, because she would definitely be very ashamed of how I saw it. I saw this whole journey, you know? And I feel like now that I have 2 kids of my own and a family, it's hard for me to see any other way than like a big blessing from God. Every which way that I've turned, God has been there. One of my favorite songs is Reckless Love, and it has, and it also says it in the Bible, but it says, He loved me and I did not deserve it, and I did not earn it. I did nothing to earn that love from God, but He still wants me, you know? Out of everything, all the messed up stuff that I have done, God has continued to love me and is loving me still. I can't even tell you how many times I have done the wrong thing and turned from God and just turned back to Scripture, because He died so that I could be loved by Him and I could be saved by Him. So